What is up, guys? TSL here, back with a brand new video. In today's video I will be covering functions and their parameters. Now this video is going to be one of the more useful ones, and yeah, let's get into it. So right now I'm just in the place from last video. If you didn't watch the previous videos in this series, make sure you go check those out. Some of the stuff we've been talking about might not make sense to you if you haven't seen it. Alright, so what we're gonna do right now is just how about we make a function, or just function. Let's make a script in the workspace. Now, before we actually get started scripting, I want to explain what a function is, why we use them. So basically, a function is just kind of a way to wrap your code. Let's say you have some code, you do it a lot in a lot of different places in your script, and it looks pretty messy, and you have to keep copying and pasting it everywhere. Well, with a function, you can make a function that will do that, and then every place you need it, all you have to do is call the function. For example, I'm gonna give you a few examples actually. So here, let's just make we're gonna spawn 10 parts, okay? So what we're gonna do is use that instance.new that we learned last video. Once again, make sure you check that out if you haven't already. So we're gonna make a part, and this is going to be equal to instance.new part, and part.name is equal to just part. We don't need to set the name, that's just fine. The parent is going to be game.workspace, and the part.position is going to be equal to vector3.new, and let's just say 10, 0, 0. So now we want to create 10 parts, right? So that's one part, that's two parts, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But now, you see, first of all, that's 39 lines of code, but now that we're not even done, we gotta go part 2, part 3, part 4, gotta go part 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oh yeah, but wait, we're still not done. Now we gotta do part 2, part 2, part 3, part 3, part 4, part 4, part 5 now we need. Now we need part 6 here. And you see, this is taking quite a bit. This is just completely useless, honestly, because we could just make a function to handle this much quicker. And as you see, it looks very ugly, it's very messy, and it's just ugh. And also now we want to change this positioning too, just have these parts everywhere. It's 20, 14. I'm just pressing random buttons. Alright, so this is it. 39 lines to create 10 parts, and if we go ahead and test it, yeah, we got all these parts. But I mean, that's completely overkill. All we have to do is make a function. So to make a function, you have two choices. You could do local function and then the function name, so we'll say create part, or we can do just function without local. So basically, let's say we have multiple functions in here. Let's say we have one to delete part and just name. This is completely useless function because well, you can delete a part with just the reference quickly. But actually, if you just have the name, not the reference, whatever. Alright, anyways, so let's say what we should do is put this over here and make this local function. Or actually, yeah, this is what we want to do. So basically, if I was here and let's just create color part. So what we can do is just make a function here, and in this function we want to call our other function. So we want to call create part, and we'll set our local part variable equal to whatever gets created in our create part function, right? But hold up. You see, it says it's not defined. That's what this orange line means. It's not defined. And that's because it's a local function. But if we switch it to function, now you see, we're same thing with variables, local variables, and global variables. If this is created after where you're calling it and it's local, it will be undefined. But if it's global, it will be defined. Alright, so anyways, let's just comment this out for now. And yeah. Alright, so in our create part function, as you saw here, we just changed the x position for everyone, so we'll just take x position. Wait, what is this? What did I just put in between the brackets, and why did I call it x position? So basically, anything in here are called parameters. When you pass them in as arguments. And basically, you can name this anything you want. It's just like a variable that you can put into your function. Now, the way this works is, let's say when I call the function, also when you call the function, you call it the function name with parentheses, and then you put in all of your parameters and arguments. So when, let's say I want the position xpos, I want that variable to be 10 for the first one, right? So if I set that to 10, then when this function runs, if I printed xpos, it'll print 10, and I'll show you that. See, it prints 10. Alright, so now that you know how that works, let's show you how we can minimize this. Honestly, we could just copy all of this code right here and just change this to x position, and now we could comment all that out, and we could just call this create part function every 10 times instead of having all those lines. So let's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And yeah, now we could just do like that. Oh. (26), 47, and 9, actually 65. Alright, so now you see we only have 20 lines instead of, actually no, we have like 15 lines, including all the lines in the function. We have 15 lines compared to 39 before. And if we go ahead and test this, boom, it works exactly the same. So now, this is still like a bit tedious, but we could use a loop, which we'll learn in a different video, but yeah, it's still much better than before. Alright, so now let's call this, there's one more thing I want to talk about with functions. And functions can return something. Now, I see a lot of posts on the dev forum with people getting confused on what return is. Now, let's say I return this part. This return is returning this part. So now, let's go up here into this function. You see how I said a local part is equal to create part. And let's just pass in xpos math.random to get a random position of 0 to 67. So anyways, this part variable will actually be this. So let me show you. If I print out this part, then you'll see, oh, I have to call the function as well. So I'm gonna just go here and create color part. And now if I test this, you see it prints out the part. Alright, so now let's show this further. Let's instead of returning part, let's do return this is what is being returned. So when we print out part, this will actually print, this should be printed out. So let's test it. And you see this is what is being returned. So basically the return statement allows you to kind of give a function a result and set a variable to that result easily. So anyways, let's just go back to returning part for this, and also let's take in a color argument here. And so then we could just say part.color is equal to color3.fromRGB color. Or actually we could just make it set to color, and then when we call this create color part, we'll put in a color 3 dot from RGB, and we'll just say 251, 251, and 245. Or actually, we don't want it to be this white. Let's just do that color. Alright, so now it should create a new part and set a color to blue. And as you see, it creates a part with a random X position and sets its color to be blue with only 2 lines of extra code and with this function. Alright, so that's basically it for functions, but there is one more thing I want to talk about that I don't see many tutorials covering. And this is these 3 dots are called ellipses. Now, the way you use it is, instead of having this color variable, I'm going to put 3 dots here. Now, these 3 dots give me an unlimited amount of arguments that I can pass. Now, to access them, we want to create them into an array. So what we're going to do is I like to call this variable params that we're making, and make it equal to the syntax that we use to make a array or dictionary, and then just put the dot 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 that we got passed in there. So now if I print the params, and let's just comment this out for now, and I play this is the parameter I'm passing in, by the way. Well, now you see this is what we get passed in, and that is what we passed in. That's just the color 3 dot new version of this color 3 dot from RGB. So anyways, as you see, what we can do is, well, we can actually loop through every parameter, and what we can also, so let's just say for underscore comma param in pairs params do, let's just do that. This will work for now. Because, well, the only parameter we're passing in is a color. So that's why that works. But if we had different parameters that's not color, then we'll have to check it. But I believe what you can also do is set the Alright, so what you can do to make sure it's color, we could say if param, or if type of param is equal to color 3, then we'll set it to a color. So now if we have another parameter like 193, you see we have these 2 parameters. But oh wait, none of them are there. Like there's not a part with that color. Now the reason this happens is because we put it just as color 3, but we have to put it in quotes. Now you'll see we get this blue, and there's no errors in the output. Look, no errors from our script. There's just from plugins. But if I remove this, or if I just put this here, then now you see it still changed the color, but unable to assign property color 3 expected got number because we passed in 193 instead. Alright, well that is functions. Functions are also used for a lot more, such as connections, but we'll learn connections in a future video, most likely the next one. So anyways guys, that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video and this helped you out, please remember to leave a like and subscribe, and remember to come back tomorrow for the next video in this series. Anyways, see ya, take care.